Hey guys, my name is Warren Parkin. I just wanted to introduce myself to you a little bit so that you can understand where I'm coming from and what it is I'm doing. I'm an unusual professor in the sense that I teach across the curriculum. So, for example, in spring 2020, I taught English 1, English 2, Spanish 1, Spanish 2, public speaking, and world literature from 1650 to the present. Now, I didn't just land here. When I was going to go to college, I thought I was going to major in science. And I apologize because I shaved my beard off so you can see my mouth in Spanish, because it's important that you see that so that you can pronounce things. But, and so now I guess I have to shave it off again. I hate shaving. Anyway, originally I majored in science because that was my highest ACT score, and I had a full ride to Brigham Young University, and I had a full tuition paid scholarship to University of Utah. I didn't know any better, and so I never applied out of state because I could have gone anywhere. But that's how life is, right? You don't know, so you do what you can. Behind me, you can see that I like rust art. So those are two baking pans that will continue to change over the years. So going back to my schooling, I studied science for one semester at Brigham Young University, where I had a scholarship that would let me fail 15 semester hours and keep it for 4 years. That was to encourage me to take courses out of my comfort zone. I only went there 1 year because even though Brigham Young University campus has a sign that says, "The world is our campus," I would walk past that sign and think, the campus is our world. After that semester, I went on a Mormon mission, and I'd saved for that since the time I was 12, and I paid for it all myself. And I went to Paraguay in South America. And I knew I was never going back to Brigham Young University. So I went through 10 weeks of intensive language training for my Mormon mission, 7 days a week. And I learned how to speak Spanish during that time, and I memorized all of the lessons I was supposed to use to convert people, so that when I got to Paraguay, I was able to talk to people and they could understand me, but I didn't understand their accent for about 6 weeks. It took me about 6 weeks to catch on. I remember coming home with my mouth so tired and my tongue hurting by speaking in Spanish, because it's different muscles to speak Espanol than it is to speak English. So I completed that mission, and then when I got back, I visited a cousin of mine who was going to a university, and I asked him when he was going away to his class, because I got back in July and my classes wouldn't start until September. I said to him, "So do you have anything to read while you're gone?" He's like, "Have you ever read Hemingway?" And so I said, "No." And he said, "Check this book out. You might like it." And it was a novel called A Farewell to Arms. And because of that, I read Hemingway for the next 4 months while I was working on a business degree. And when I was finishing my second semester, I found out that the English college was offering a seminar in Hemingway. And I'd already read all of his novels by then. And so in January, I signed up for that class along with my business classes. And about halfway through that class, I realized, well, hell, they'll give me a degree for reading beautiful literature and writing papers? And so I switched my business degree to English. In the meantime, I took a class in Spanish that gave me 2.5 years of Spanish credit. And I passed that just fine. And so I decided to major in English and minor in Spanish. And that's what I did. And then the quarter before I was graduating, I needed one more class, just one class in Spanish to have a minor in it. And Joel Hancock was offering a Mexican novels class. And I had never read a single work of fiction in Spanish. And I took that class, and I loved it. I could not believe how beautiful novels were in Spanish. And so I graduated in May with my English degree and my bachelor, and my minor in Spanish. And 2 weeks later, in June, I went back to do my bachelor degree in Spanish literature, and I finished that in a year. After that, I was married by then. I was 23 years old, and I told my wife I never want to pay for college again. And I'm sure you guys can understand that, because once I turned down my scholarship at BYU after going there for a semester, I had to pay everything out of pocket. And I told her I never want to have to pay for it again, but if they will pay me to go to graduate school, I'd like to do that. So I started teaching Spanish when I was 23 years old. So what would that be? About 5 months after I got my bachelor degree in Spanish. And so I've been teaching for 22 years, Spanish. And then, ironically, even though I did my master's degree in Spanish literature and my doctoral degree in Spanish literature, mainly I teach English classes, because I'm qualified to do that. But this is how life is that you can't predict, okay? I want you to know that some of you are probably under pressure from your families and saying that you're being selfish for going to college, or, it's just not the right time right now. Well, the spring before I graduated with my English degree, I was at a Christmas party that was a sibling Christmas party where the rule was that you could only bring your spouse. And that was because I have 9 siblings, so there are 10 of us in all. And the rule was no children and no grandparents. So our own parents could come. And we would do that. And my oldest brother-in-law, who was a doctor, offered to set me up in business if I'd run it for him. And he talked to me about sharpening surgical tools, etc., and how he would provide the van and all the tools to sharpen them, and I could just go over to medical plazas and do that. And I said to him at the time, yeah, I'd be happy to do that as long as I can go to college. He's like, oh no, you'd have to drop out. Well, I looked at him and I said, well then no thank you. And I was so fucking angry. I went home that night and I looked at my transcripts and realized, oh my God, I'm going to graduate in 5 months. So can you imagine if I'd just listened to him? I wouldn't be here teaching you. I'd be sharpening surgical tools still. Anyway, the point of all those stories is that you yourself is unique. I'm not saying that everybody is all the same and so they're all unique. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that your goals, your desires, what you want to do with your life is unique. And I want to help you do that. I love creativity. I love difference. I am a fan of innovation. I'm educating you because I hate seeing people go hungry, because I saw that in Paraguay. I saw babies with swollen bellies. I saw babies put into the ground when they were 8 years old and too young to die. And we're going to have 10 billion people here